My name's Abigail and this is my Nespresso Masterclass. I want to show you how to make barista-style coffee at home. In this video, we're going to look at 4 specific areas. Firstly, the espresso and how that's the base for all these milky recipes. We'll also look at the classic cafe-style recipes, some specialised recipes like the affogato and flavoured coffees. And finally, we'll look at iced coffees. The espresso is the base to any coffee shop recipe. The espresso is a balance between bitterness, acidity, and sweetness. There's a combination of aromatics and it should be balanced on the palate. I'm going to make one for you now. So this coffee smells amazing. What you can see here is a nice thick band on top. So we call that the crema. The crema is made up of oils of the coffee that have separated out during extraction. So how you can tell a good quality crema is it's a nice pale to dark brown colour, and that's depending on the roast. And you can also see it's got lovely tight bubbles on top. So now we're going to compare this to the ristretto. Ristretto means restricted in Italian. So what that means is we're going to have to stop the shot early at 25 mils. So look at that. That's a 25 ml shot and this is a 40 ml shot. So different flavours are soluble at different times during an extraction. The ristretto is going to have a slightly different balance of sweetness, acidity and bitterness compared to the espresso. I find it a little more powerful and a little less bitter. Now we'll move on to the longer style of black coffees. We'll start with the lungo. So we have capsules specifically designed for the lungo button. Inside the capsule, actually there's a little bit more coffee packed in there and it's a coarser grind. And the coarse grind allows a longer extraction without tasting overly bitter or a bit over extracted. The lungo has a slightly different balance between bitterness, sweetness and acidity. The mouthfeel will be slightly lighter than the espresso. Now we're going to compare the lungo with the Americano. The Americano starts with an espresso that we top up with hot water. So this has a little bit of a different mouthfeel compared to the lungo. They say that the Americano was named so because the American troops, when visiting Italy, wouldn't be able to handle the espresso, so they'd dilute it with hot water. So what that means is a little bit weaker, and again, that different balance between bitterness, acidity, and sweetness. Now we'll move on to milk recipes and the basic coffee shop coffees. Milk is composed of 3 components: protein, fat, and sugar. Protein helps stabilize the milk foam. So as you heat the milk, the protein starts to unravel and the air starts to get incorporated in, and that's what gives milk a really nice foam. Fat gives milk a really nice creamy mouthfeel, and sugar is the lactose in milk, and as you heat up milk slowly, that lactose starts to break down into galactose and glucose, and that's why heated milk is a little bit sweeter than cold milk. I'm going to move on to the smallest of the coffee shop recipes, the espresso macchiato. I love this recipe because you get a little bit of foamed milk and all the power of the espresso. So I'm going to use the Arancino 4 for the milk, and the reason why is because this one has a special macchiato foam setting, and this means that it's extra dry and really stiff froth. Macchiato actually means stain in Italian. So what that means is that the thick milk foam is staining the top of the crema. So we can almost spoon this crema on top. Oh, look at that, to form really stiff peaks of milk foam on top of that dark espresso. Next up, I'm going to make the classic Italian recipe, the cappuccino. For the foam, I like a really dry froth and quite foamy. I'm going to use the Arancino 3 as I think it's perfect for that. This has a 40 ml espresso on the bottom, and then we'll add around 60 ml of foamed milk on top. The cappuccino was actually named because the Capuchin monks, the color of their hoods resembles the top of the cappuccino. Next, I'm going to make the flat white. This is one of my favourite coffees. Being an Australian, I find this drink really epitomises Australian coffee culture. I really like to make my flat whites with the Creatista Pro, and I use a double ristretto, and this is because the final cup is going to have a really nice powerful coffee taste and combines perfectly with the milk. I'm going to start by making the ristretto shot, and then I'll add the second one. The Creatista Pro has a special button just for the flat white, and that's so the milk texture is absolutely perfect for this drink. We'll add our second ristretto, and we'll add our semi-skimmed milk, and the machine will froth both. So now I'm going to pour that really nice textured milk on top of the coffee. So what I like to do is give it a little swirl, and also give it a few taps just to remove the larger bubbles from the top. Now I'm going to make the latte macchiato, one of my favourite coffee recipes. This is because it makes a really beautiful 3-layer effect when you add the milk first and then the coffee on top, and it separates out. Amazing. I'm using the Gran Latissima because it makes this coffee with just one touch of the button. Look at the layers that's formed here. You can see on the bottom we've got the hot milk, then the coffee, and then the hot foam. Looks gorgeous. Now I'm going to make a latte. Now do not order a latte at an Italian cafe because it actually means milk in Italian, and you're just going to get a plain glass of milk. The espresso is the base of this recipe, and we're going to use the Arancino 3 to make this. The reason why I'm doing that is because the whisk inside can be removed to just create the hot milk required for this drink. You can put it at the top of the lid for safekeeping. We'll pop the milk in, and we'll press the button. So I'm going to remove the drip tray, pop the cup under, and brew my espresso. So with this milk, it's not super frothy, but I'm just going to give it a nice little swirl to get all the froth incorporated with the body of the milk. Let me pour the milk on top. So this is a real beautiful drink when you just want a little hint of coffee with nice, really creamy milk. Now I'm going to show you how to make some specialty coffee recipes. I've got our Barista Creations range here that are inspired by cafe treats. So these coffees is roast and ground coffee with added flavouring to resemble the cafe treat. I'm going to make the vanilla eclair for us now as a latte because I find it tastes exactly like a vanilla milkshake. I'm going to use this beautiful frothed milk from the Arancino 3. So give it a little swirl. Another little swirl to get all that froth out. Oh my goodness, that looks amazing. And you can just smell all that vanilla. Exactly like a vanilla milkshake. The mocha is a combination of coffee and chocolate. I use real chocolate in my recipe in the barista machine because it gives you a really creamy drink and it's super rich and delicious. I'm going to open this and I'm going to find the mocha selection. Here we go. So I'm going to add 4 Nespresso chocolate squares to the jug. I'm going to add around 60 ml of milk, brew my espresso, and I'm pouring this into the barista jug. Pop on the lid. Press go. So now I can take the lid off. Oh my goodness, it looks amazing. Little swirl. Oh my god, that smells so good. You can just smell all that chocolate in there. And there we go, a mocha. The affogato is my favourite after dinner naughty treat. So I like to start with a little bit of vanilla ice cream in the cappuccino glass. Perfect. And then I brew an espresso on top. So affogato actually means drowned in Italian. As you can see, the vanilla ice cream here is drowning in espresso. I just can't wait to dig in. I really love using non-dairy milks with my coffees. The Atelier machine is perfect for either oat drink, soy drink, or almond drink. So all I have to do is pour a little bit of oat into the glass, just about to there. Put the glass underneath the machine, and we put this lever down, and I'm going to press the latte macchiato button, and the machine does it all for me. And look at that coffee, it looks so good. There's really clear differentiation between the 3 layers. It looks delicious. There's nothing I love more than iced coffee on a hot day. I'm going to show you 2 different barista recipes over ice. The first one is black coffee over ice with a little bit of sparkling water. The second is an iced coffee with a little bit of frothed milk, and it's super delicious. I'm going to be using the Barista Creations range over ice. These have been specifically crafted to be enjoyed with ice as a cold drink. So what we do first is we add 4 ice cubes to the glass. We pour some lovely sparkling water on top, and then we brew an espresso. And look at that coffee. That sparkling water is so refreshing on the palate, and the coffee in there really brings out a little bit of strength to the drink. Nespresso's made it so easy to create an iced latte at home. The Aerocino 3 actually froths cold milk. So we pour a little bit in, and you hold the button down for 3 seconds, and it turns blue. So this means the machine will froth, but it won't heat the milk. So you're left with a really nice, thick, foamy, cold milk. I'm gonna add some ice cubes to the glass. And I personally love zhuzhing up my iced latte with a little bit of caramel syrup. Pour that in there, about a teaspoon. And now we pour this cold froth on top. Look at that, it is so thick and creamy. And now we will brew the coffee on top. Look at that coffee filtering through that frothed milk. Looks amazing. Who needs to go to a coffee shop when you can make that at home? That's my Nespresso Barista Masterclass. I hope you enjoyed. And now you've seen the versatility Nespresso offers for you to be a barista at home making these classic coffee recipes.